Hello, everyone. Thank you for dealing with the technical difficulties and being patient with us. If you missed it, I'm here with Nick from New Era Sens. Thank you for joining me. How you doing today?
I'm good, bro. Let's hope this works.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. We're off to a better start
Yeah,
than we
yeah,
were
yeah.
yesterday,
Mm,
earlier.
yeah, should be good, I think.
Yeah, I think so. If you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining in. We're the Sens Hour podcast, part of the Hockey Podcast Network. So we'll be talking for about an hour. So we got some big topics to talk about though today, with free agency and the draft past us. Some big names have signed in Ottawa. So we'll break it down with the draft at first. Obviously, Stutzel was in at 3. I think everyone wanted that. So I'm going to ask you number 5, Jake Sanderson. Mixed opinions across the board on this.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying earlier, I was sort of on the fence about them picking Sanderson, but I think a large part of us sort of knew that's the direction Dorian was going to take. Obviously, probably the most sense for Dorian, considering his love for UND, and you can't pass up a nice two-way defenseman, shutdown guy like him. Obviously, great prospect, captain at UNTDP. So overall, good player. I'm really excited to have him. Took a little bit of adjusting, but you pick twice in the top five. You can't go wrong with that. So I stopped complaining.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Sens fans were still complaining after that pick.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
still see that on Twitter for sure.
yeah, I mean, our Twitter is, Sens Twitter can be pretty volatile at times.
Yeah,
But with that being said, we got a lot of picks. We also had another UND product defenseman, Cleveland, out
yeah.
of
Tyler Clevin.
he's a big boy.
Hmm.
Was there any picks that like kind of surprised you that we went after, or was it kind of oh this makes sense?
Yeah, that goalie we took. I was it the second round, or it might have been the third. I'm not sure, but that goalie we took, I don't know. That kind of shocked me. Obviously, Craig Button, that he was saying that's like a huge off the board pick, and I don't think that guy was even ranked in this draft. So kind of confused me. But I think their tactic was take these guys from Europe. These guys are playing right now, so. With the uncertainty with the North American players, obviously it makes sense to pick in Europe, which I think will be, it's a hit or miss. These guys could develop and play above their level in Europe and have all this ice time. But that goalie really surprised me, especially considering we have such a deep prospect pool for our goalies. But if they saw something in him, I gotta believe it was worth something. But I think we also went off the board with a lot of our picks in the second round and further on. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't really know many of the guys, but at the same time, I'll trust the scouts. And if they saw something, they're probably bang on. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up the goalie that we picked, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because we traded for a goalie, I believe on draft day, and that was Matt Murray. And I think Sens fans know exactly what we're getting out of Matt Murray. What was your reaction when Matt Murray when that news broke?
Well, obviously, we all knew that the Suns were targeting a goalie. I didn't really think we'd end up landing Matt Murray just because I guess big name, and we're not really always linked to big names. So I was kind of shocked, and it came out of nowhere. And seeing that pop up on my feed, that's just incredible. And especially seeing the return we got from him, that just made it all better. So I don't know. I was really excited. Matt Murray's, a guy I've always liked. Probably every franchise mode I've had, that that was the goalie of choice. So yeah, I'm really happy. And this guy's only 26, so we got a good few years with him. And if he can bring 2 more cups to Ottawa, that's pretty incredible. So I'm excited. That guy's really good for us.
Were you so everyone was kind of questioning the contract. He signed a 4-year deal, 6.25.
Yeah,
What's your take on that? Because personally, I think it's a great contract for 20. He'll be 27
yeah,
next season, at the end of next season, I think it's a great deal for someone who's entering his prime.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good deal. Like obviously, um, I think the two cups come into play when you talk contracts with that guy. Like not many goalies ever, you know, I don't think many goalies have ever done that. So I think that boosted a little. He had a bad year last year, so I'm not sure what his contract would have been if he had a really good year last year. So I think it's fair if he can bounce back and play the way he did earlier on. Like that's great value for our number one goalie and probably our number one goalie for a good solid time. So yeah, I gave it 5 to 5.5 at first, but obviously the guy deserves it. So I'm really happy with that. Six, that's a good deal.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you say what would his contract look like if he had a
Yeah,
good year? I don't think he'd be in Ottawa if he had a good year.
yeah,
I think
exactly.
Pittsburgh probably would have kept him.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
that kind of kicked off a thing of speculation. And then we had the RFAs, the qualifying offers announced. And obviously, during the qualifying offers, the biggest omission was Anthony Duclair. As all my listeners know, I'm not the hugest Anthony Duclair supporter. I have been very skeptical and very critical of his performance in his career, and I like Duclair. I think he has the skill. He just lacked the work ethic that
yeah,
you want out of a top six guy. So when I saw that he wasn't qualified, I wasn't surprised. I mean, I was a little bit surprised due to the cap situation, but looking at how we've been able to use our money, we got good Branson. We just made a big signing. I think everyone kind of can agree that no one expected us to sign Dadonov. What do you think that Ottawa goes back and circulates around Duclair if they want that left wing spot a little bit more secure, or do you think we're done with Duclair in Ottawa?
you see, I would have thought by now if we were gonna go back on Duclair, like he would have been signed by now. I think obviously he wants to take a look around the league, see if he can get his money's worth, in his opinion. But yeah, I was a bit shocked when we didn't qualify him, just based off the fact that none of us knew we'd be spending money and acquiring these players. So I thought bringing Duclair back would be obviously the most. Uh, it would just happen because based off of going into next year, trying to reach a cap floor, and obviously him being an integral part last year, I just thought he was a for sure lock going into next season. But obviously, Dorion had other plans. He said he wanted Dadonov from the start. That was their guy. So maybe that changed their perspective into re-signing Duclair, saying like, okay, there's this guy we want. We probably won't give Duclair this guy's money's worth because we have another guy we want more. So I don't know. But obviously, Duclair having no agent, I think that kind of hurts him a little bit. If he's not signed by now, it's probably because a lot of teams don't want to give him what he's asking for. So we'll see. Maybe if he comes back, for a little bit less than he wants, that'd be good. Obviously, I love the player, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked. Like our lineup looks pretty strong without Duclair involved. So yeah, I don't know where he would really fit in. So we'll see, man.
Do you think him representing himself has kind of hurt the his because I mean he has a reputation of being kind of a lazy player. Do you
Yeah.
think him representing himself has kind of been like a wake up call, hearing things that he may not have heard if he had an agent representing him?
Oh, maybe. But I mean, the guy's going on his sixth team, so like, I hope he would have heard it before. If that was definitely a cause of the problem, I hope like he at least heard it from other teams before realizing it now. Like obviously, you look at Tortorella, that guy put him on blast. So if that didn't teach him anything, I don't really expect this to. Obviously, he's still out there, so I think he's looking for the money he's asking for, which is probably why he's still not signed and hoping a team jumps on him. But I don't know, man. I just don't think he gets what he wants, considering Dorion offered him a pay raise last year. The report, I think it was 4.1 million, and he said no or something like that. So I just don't see him, being more valuable than a 4.1, $4.5 million player, even at that. is a lot for a guy who's inconsistent. I hope he learns. Just I don't think this is the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think if people don't know, I mean, he had
Yeah,
9 points from January 2nd until like March 12th is when the season ended.
yeah,
Kind of hard to be paid. He was on such a torrid pace at the beginning of the year, and then he just died off. If
yeah,
he continued on the pace and probably led the team in scoring and whatnot, there's a case for him. But
yeah,
when you have 9 points and other players are producing at a higher level and have hit double digits,
yeah, yeah.
it kind of makes you look worse in that light. You
Yeah,
know,
this was a year for him too to go out and prove himself, and he did for the most part. But that inconsistency is what is gonna define what player he is. And I don't know, he had to be more consistent. He wasn't. He had so many chances playing big minutes with skilled players. I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't blame Dorian for not offering him more than what he did, because obviously we've got so many players coming up the pipeline. It's unfortunate, but yeah, he's just not worth all that for sure.
now we're gonna jumping away from the. I mean, we can talk about RFAs. There's
Yeah,
Connor Brown, Chris Tierney that still need to be signed, and Nick Paul just got signed. Joey Decord at the time
yeah,
of signed literally today on a 3-year deal. So I think overall Pierre Dorian has done a really good job at bringing players back and making sure that they're here for a while.
yeah,
Considering that Nick Paul's here for 2 years, Decord's here for 3, and there's rumors. I know after the Dadonov signing, there's rumors from Pierre LeBrun that um, Pierre Dorian may not be done shopping. So now we're somehow connected to Winnipeg and Line A. There's some other names being dropped down that might be for Ottawa. So who would you love to see in Ottawa if it's by trade or free agency? Everyone should know by now that I was huge on Toffoli, uh,
yeah,
and him going to Montreal kind of sucks because it's
yeah,
Montreal,
yeah.
and so there's not really anyone that I want to bring in that aspect. But who is someone that you would love to see Ottawa bring in that can play right now?
Um, in terms of like free agents, I really like Andreas Athanasiou. Obviously, very skillful, very fast player. Maybe not the best finisher, but you put that guy on a line. I don't know, just with whoever, even with Formanton. Can you imagine that speed on one line together? That would be incredible. I think the guy would be a good addition to this young team, especially since he's still young. Um, but I probably wouldn't offer him a long-term contract, probably a bridge deal or something, just to fill the gaps. But I don't know. I don't know who to bring. I think the plan is for them to just have a bunch of filler players and rotate the young guys in, especially with the AHL that might not be returning next year. I think it's a safe bet to say that a lot of these guys might be plugged into the lineup. A lot of rotational players just to ensure that they all get equal ice time for the development. So I don't know if you'd want to bring in another high end player or another guy that's gonna play top line minutes or second line minutes. I don't know. It'd probably be a depth piece. I would plug into the lineup anyway. But even then, I look at what our lineup could be. It looks pretty stagnant, pretty complete. I wouldn't really do much to change it, but the rumors are interesting. We'll see what Dorion uh, has to do. We'll see. I'm excited, but yeah, I'm confident what we have.
Yeah, and I mean for the individuals who haven't heard, Pierre Dorian has come out and said that they're pretty much set on defense and a net,
Yeah,
and if there is going to be any kind of additions, it's going to be in the forward group. I think earlier today, I think since Twitter as a whole over the last couple of weeks have been like, here are some projected lineups based off who we have. I
yeah,
know some people don't like it, but it's fun to do. And I think earlier today, Graham Nichols kind of put out a lineup, and it kind of got. I mean, I've done it. I've put out my own lineups over the last little while. Kind of got me wondering where where Tierney and Connor Brown kind of slot in, and I posted it on the Sens Hour Twitter of like, where do you see these two players slotting in long term, and if so, what kind of contract would you give them?
Yeah.
And personally, I don't see either of them being here long term. Considering that I think Connor Brown's a solid like middle six guy. We have a guy like Abramov and Sokorov who could slot into that role. And Tierney, we have our plethora of centers, so he might just be kicked out.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to happen with these two? Obviously, they're RFAs. They're both arbitration.
Yeah.
Where do you see this going?
I think it's a must to re-sign Connor Brown. I think like he's an integral part of this team. Obviously, a leader, older guy, and he'll kill some minutes, he'll kill some penalties. All around good player, a dependable player. So I see him on a third right wing behind Batherson, Dadonov. Obviously, if Batherson isn't ready for that second line role, maybe you rotate Connor Brown into that second fold, and then try to get Batherson accustomed to NHL minutes. But I don't know. For Tierney, it's a bit mixed emotions for me. Like I don't really know where he'll fit in. Honestly, I'm more worried about Colin White because I do think Colin White's a true center, but I don't know if DJ sees it that way or if Pierre Dorion sees it that way either. So I'm not really sure, but I would assume that Tierney would plug in that second center just to make sure our rookies aren't rushed into the big roles right away. Maybe I saw Graham Nichols put Colin White as the first C. I don't know if I see that happening, but it'll have to be a big jump for him to prove that he belongs there. Obviously, I don't think he's a true 1C regardless, so maybe Stutzla takes over that spot. I don't know. So many things can happen, but I don't think Tierney stays more than a year here. I think he's a trade asset or Seattle piece. But for Connor Brown, I really do hope he sticks around. I really like Connor Brown as a player, and I would be really happy if he stuck here for another 4 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, I like Connor Brown. I think that's the piece that everyone was excited for when we traded CC for Zaitsev and Connor Brown. And I think being stuck with Zaitsev for another like 4 years, including this year, even though he is expendable or unprotected, like he doesn't have to be protected in the expansion draft, the idea that he will be picked by Seattle is slim. No wrong if he is picked by Seattle. I think all Sens fans are going to sigh a sigh of relief a little bit there. But I think the interesting thing is that we're in a position that like this is a serious conversation we have to look at as fans and as the organization. We have to look at these two players and be like, where do they slot into the lineup in like 2-3 years? And I think that's something that Ottawa fans weren't expecting. I think these are two players that Ottawa fans may have looked at, heading into last season as guys who are going to be here long term. The emergence of Pinto, the emergence of Norris have definitely kind of pushed Tierney out.
Yeah.
And I think if Colin White's given a legitimate shot at center, he'll do well. So it's gonna be a very interesting couple of months if there is a season at that.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. Bang on.
Before we get into the next segment, what's been your favorite move so far in the offseason for Dorian?
It has to be Matt Murray, man. like I don't know. I'm a huge fan of that guy. So having him on the Sens, my favorite team, that's just incredible to see. And I don't know, the return we gave up for him, I thought was very minimal considering he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion. Like you can't go wrong with that. He's going to be our number one for a good while, and I think that was an incredible move. Like I didn't really see it coming, which makes it even better. I think just to have it come out of nowhere, and being a Sens fan in this time, that was a really good move. So I'm really happy on that end.
Yeah, I think outside of Dadonov, I think that's probably the biggest move that Sens fans are happy with.
Yeah.
So, I got to ask a question. Where do you see this team going next season? What are your expectations for the 2021 Senators?
I hate to say it because obviously I'm a diehard fan, but the team that I see on paper, especially defensively, it's not that big of a difference than last year, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Like Branson could be a nice solid piece. Same thing with Brown. I mean, we've heard it all before. We'll see, but I just don't see a big jump since last year, especially since our rookies are not fully integrated into the NHL. They're not, there yet. I think this is a big year for adjusting chemistry, making the players develop a bit more. Obviously, Stützle is a big part, all that, yes. But it's their first year for most of these rookies making the jump. So I don't see them bringing us over, bottom 10. Like, realistically, I still say bottom 6, bottom 8, but that's just me. We'll see how it goes. I just think a lot of teams have gotten better as well, so it's hard, especially in our division. I'd say bottom 6, bottom 8.
And honestly, I can see that, especially defense wise. If you look at our defensive core, Shabbat, Willanen, Riley on the left side, and then you have Brown, Zub, Zaitsev, and Goodbranson on the right. Not a lot of hope on that side, at least on paper.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on how they play, can really change that. But, and I mean, to be fair, bottom 6 and bottom 8 isn't necessarily a bad thing, considering we finished bottom 2 or bottom 3 the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So moving up those spots, that's not bad. I think if you're finishing bottom 8, personally, I think if you're finishing bottom 8, I'd rather be like 6, 7, or 8.
Yeah.
Over like 3, 4, and 5 kind of thing. And I think we've all learned from this past draft lottery, doesn't matter where you finish in the bottom half of the league, you can always win a lottery.
Yeah, literally.
and I think, honestly, that would be ideal. Let's say we finish, I don't know, like 22nd or 23rd, and we win the draft lottery. I think that would be the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
We move up a couple of spots and we still end up drafting first.
Yeah. That would be incredible. But we had 2 top 5 picks. I was for sure thinking we'd get first overall. So I have no hopes of getting first overall next year, unless Pierre Dorion makes another move and I get all hyped for it. I don't know, but we'll see. Anything could happen. But this time around, I think I'll just be fine with picking 6th overall next year or something. I'd be happy with that. But we'll see. Yeah.
I think anything outside of the top 5
yeah.
is a win for Sens fans who've been in the bottom 5 the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say like a trade. I think, we talked about Tierney not being part of the long-term plan. Tierney could be very much like another Pajot, where a team is looking for that kind of bottom 6 depth on the power play and penalty kill. And a team might overpay a little bit for him, and that could equal up another first-round pick or even a couple of seconds for Tierney. And I think that would even be, no matter where that pick finishes, that'd be majorly beneficial to this rebuild.
Yeah. Who knows? It depends. I think for me, moving Tierney would really have to mean that one of our rookies are really pushing for a top spot. Like, I think this year, it's a step over the rebuild. Like, the rebuild is done, but I still think it's a time where our players have to rotate in. Like, we still need those guys to cover those bigger minutes, because I don't know, you can't just throw your rookies under the bus and hope for them to succeed. But we'll see. If our rookies get better, I think Tierney is a for sure goner. But for now, I don't know. I hope that they find something for him. Maybe give him better opportunities and use him as a trade asset for the trade deadline, like you're saying. If he gets more minutes and he plays well, like you said, a Pajot at the deadline is that would be great for us. And yeah, you're right. He's definitely not staying long term, so he's gonna get shipped out most likely.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely think that. We're getting to the half-hour mark of the show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we got a little bit more to discuss. We're going to talk the New Jerseys, because that needs to be discussed, as well as our prospects playing overseas and the upcoming. We talked a little bit about the upcoming season, but we also have to talk about the potential Canadian division that was somewhat leaked by Vegas owner
Mhm.
Bill Foley the other day.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back with that. Again, Nick, thank you for joining us so far. We'll be back
Yeah.
in a sec.
All right, man.
All right, we are back. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Follow the Sens Hour on Twitter and on YouTube. You can find our podcast at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast. Follow Nick at Dumoulin_Nick on Twitter. And for myself, Sens _hour and Shane_Ryan97. So let's get into the last half hour of the show. We're going to get started off with the prospects over in Europe. We have a good amount of them playing currently overseas in Abramov, Brandstrom, yeah, Gustafsson, and Schlappick, to name a few. If you guys haven't seen, Abramov has played two games, 4 goals.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't really know how, and he's playing out in Liga,
Mhm.
in the Finnish league, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
I thought he may have gone over to the KHL.
Yeah. You would think because he's Russian, but I mean,
Well, you made that sound very stereotypical there.
yeah, you would just assume. But I mean, it's a good fit. Joker, right?
I think
Guys,
so, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, playing really well. So
Yeah, he had friggin' first 2 periods. He had 2 goals.
yeah, that shootout goal. No, penalty shot. I think that
Penalty
was
shot in overtime.
his specialty move. That's awesome.
Oh man, I think Abramov has a chance to really make some noise. Yeah, he's on loan in Jakarta out of
Yeah,
the Liga. 2 games, 4 goals.
yeah, that's incredible. And he's one of those guys. He's overshadowed because we have such a deep prospect pool. Like I didn't really know much about him when we did acquire him, But yeah, definitely proved me wrong. He had a good year last year as well. I hope he takes a bit of a jump into the AHL next year, proves his worth a little more. But if everything goes right, like that guy is going to be a really good player for us. I just don't know where he fits. To be honest with you, we'll see. But if he keeps playing like that, I think he has a really good shot at surpassing other prospects we have.
Yeah, I mean, in between, I think for him, he can play right or left side, and I think with the need on the left side, I think him and Balsers are two guys that can make name with him and Formenton as well. Are
Yeah,
three of our three wingers that can make a name for themselves at camp this year. And I think it shouldn't be understated that like him getting it, he's getting an advantage playing right now because guys
yeah,
like Formenton and Balsers are sitting at home just training.
yeah, yeah. No, that's
And
that's yeah. Guys in Europe right now, like I don't know, they have such a huge advantage, and that's awesome for our players. We'll see. I expect Abramov coming back from Finland into training camp just to be a whole lot better than most players, and I think that's what we'll see with some Europe guys right now, which isn't a bad thing.
yeah, and I mean, we have as much Abramov struggled last year due to injuries. He was kind of in and out of the lineup most of the time. He had
Yeah,
41 points in 51 games for Belleville.
yeah,
Fantastic. That's great when he
yeah.
was playing. But I think he's just getting his swagger back.
hmm Yeah, and that's good to build confidence, especially against men in Finland. Obviously, not the same as the NHL, but I think it's a big step for him, especially being out there doing really well. It must do some good for his confidence, and that's always nice to see.
Yeah, and I think we're talking about Abramov's confidence. We have to look at a guy like Eric Brandstrom who's playing over in Switzerland. He's not even in Sweden. Another guy that you would
Yeah,
think would be playing kind of for his home countries in his home country. He's playing with the SCL Tigers,
yeah,
and he had a beautiful overtime winner the other
yeah,
night.
yeah. I'm happy for him. Like he needs to. I don't know. This is the time for him to really develop and get better. Like he needs to work on a few things. Although I think he's on a bad team, if I'm not mistaken. Like they had a rough start. So we'll see. Maybe that plays into something. I don't know, but I hope he really takes a step and shows that he's worth more than if he can shine on a bad team, like good. That's what he needs to do here in Ottawa. So I'm happy, but I hope that doesn't affect his development playing on a lower tier team.
I don't think it will. I mean, I kind of definitely understand where people are coming from in that aspect, where like it
Yeah,
might kind of kill his confidence a little bit. But I think the player that might, out of everyone, we still have Lassie Thompson playing out in Finland for I can't even pronounce this. Ilves? I don't even
yeah,
know. My bad for any of Finnish listeners. But it's funny because he also is teammates with Robbie Järventi, who is
yeah,
Ottawa's first pick in the second round. And Thompson has no points right now, but I think
yeah,
that's something. He's not a point getter. He only had 13 points last year, but it's all about confidence, right?
yeah.
And
Oh, is it his second year in that league? I think.
yeah,
I'm
he
not.
he played. He was at he we loaned him to Liga last year. He had
Yeah,
13 points in 39 games.
yeah,
I mean, at the World Juniors, uh, he had 3 points in 7 games. He was the captain for Finland.
yeah.
So it's not bad, but definitely
No,
not a. He's definitely not going to be a point getter.
yeah, and that's probably that. Like you said, that's not the player he is. So I wouldn't really expect him to be super flashy. But I think second year, this is the year for him to really get settled into that league and really show his game. Obviously, first year for anyone, that's a big jump. It's a bit tough to do. But I think this year is really important for him, and I saw that Dorion wanted him to play in Belleville, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, solid guy. I just we can't really have high expectations coming out of him. I think he'll be a good defenseman for us, and especially seeing Roby Yerventi wearing that gold helmet, like that guy's been performing. That's huge, and I really didn't know much about him, but I'm really glad we got this guy, and I keep hearing good things. So hopefully they both develop really well for us, and we'll see how they play out in Europe.
Yeah, and your event he's sitting at 5 points in 6 games according
Yeah,
to Elite Prospects.
yeah,
Uh, Fantastic. I think it's his first season out the uh, in the top league in Finland as an 18-year-old. Not bad, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, first
Yeah.
year he was
He's on the second division, I think. In
yeah,
yeah,
he played for Kuvi, I think
yeah,
last year. In Finland, he played 5 games for Ives out of Liga last year. He had 1 point, but he
yeah,
had 38 points in 36 games with Kuvi.
yeah.
So
That's nice. Like I said, it's a second year pro, so that should be good. A bit of a jump, but that's what you have to expect if you want to play in the NHL anyway. So to see that he's performing, like that's really huge, and obviously great pick. I'm really happy with that as well. So
yeah, and I think, but one of the guys I think is going to benefit the most is Philip Gustafsson, the goalie
mhm.
out of Sweden. I know a lot of people are kind of knocking him right now because he hasn't performed great
Yeah,
in North America, but I think we need to remember that he's 22. He's been in North America since I think he was 18 or 19. Still, goaltenders take the longest time to develop, and I
mhm.
think we're seeing all these goaltenders come over. Both Gorkiev and Shesterkin in for the Rangers that are like 23, 24 years old. Uh, Elvis Merzlikins and Corpuselo, they took time to get ready. They're both in the NHL in like their mid 20s. I think, Gustafsson has 2 more years, and I mean Hogberg 25 before he really had a shot.
Yeah,
So it's interesting to see kind of where he's projecting, but I think he's playing in Div 2 because his team got relegated to Div 2.
mhm.
But he has a 167
Yeah,
goals against and a .936 save percentage in four
yeah.
games.
That's solid. Yeah, you would really hope that this is the year for him to at least take a bit of a stride. Like he didn't really like obviously didn't have a good year last year, and the cord taken over. Like obviously that hurts, but you would really think that this opportunity for him would be a huge thing for his development, especially his confidence. Playing on a different team where he gets to shine, I guess, a bit more. Yeah, I'm really happy for Gustafsson, and again, another guy where you had high expectations, but because of how deep we are, he just kind of gets overshadowed by other guys, which not his fault, but um, he's still a great prospect. So I think we have to be patient with him. Like you said, goalies are different. Yeah, I think he could still be a really good player, a really good goalie. So I really hope for the best for him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Him and Decord
Yeah,
are going to play a great 1-2 combo in Belleville if there is an AHL season.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's a pretty good tandem.
Hopefully, I mean they were the tandem that led Belleville to like one of the top spots in the league. I think they were when play ended they were first in the Eastern Conference in the
Yeah,
AHL, and I think they were second in the league behind only Milwaukee. And
yeah,
Milwaukee was stacked for a good run.
yeah. That team was crazy as well.
And talking about the 20, there's two things coming out of the 20 for the 2021 season. One of them is for the AHL is that the Canadian teams will relocate their AHL franchises to Canada on
Hmm.
a part-time basis, and that would only affect 3 clubs, and they're all
Yeah,
out west. As Toronto, the Marlies are in Toronto. The Montreal's team is the Laval Rockets. Ottawa obviously has um, Belleville. Winnipeg has the Moose, and then so it's the Flames in Stockton.
Yeah.
You have the Condors out of Bakersfield for the Oilers, and then you have the Utica Comets who play out of the North Division
Yeah.
against the Belleville Senators. But it kind of leads into the next information that was kind of leaked about a Canadian division, a Canadian bubble.
Hmm.
And then so for that, you have to wonder, okay, if there is that kind of movement for the AHL to bring teams, those three clubs to Canada for the year, how likelihood is there going to be that Canadian bubble? And if there is that Canadian bubble, assuming that there's maximum 5 teams to make the playoffs, we'll do 3 because we'll have the division, right?
Yeah.
One, how do you think the playoffs would look? Because you'd have, I believe there's 4 divisions. There might have been 5. Can't remember exactly. I think it was either 4 or 5 divisions. But how would the playoffs look if that were the case?
Yeah. I really don't know. Like I have no idea what to expect next year. But if that's the case, like how do you evaluate the whole league if there's one Canadian division? I don't know. I really don't know how they're gonna do it, but we'll see. I don't know. Even then, same question applies for the draft next year. How do you rank the draft?
I mean, I would
I,
guess they would still have their like league board, right? It would just
I
be a
guess,
matter.
yeah. But
Yeah,
then teams
so
don't play each other, right?
I found there was a thing on Twitter posted by Barstool. God, I hate Barstool. um, but they are the ones who posted it. There was a kind of a graph um, of how how it would all work out, and it would basically be 4 divisions.
Hmm.
My only question would be how the divisions work, because
Yeah.
you'd have all the Canadian teams. You would have, by the looks of it, uh, the California teams with uh, St. Louis, Colorado, Arizona, Vegas, and Minnesota in one division.
Oh yeah, I see that. Okay.
Yeah, it would be the Avalanche, uh, Dallas, Minnesota,
Hmm.
Arizona, Vegas in one division with the California teams, and then it'd be Columbus, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Nashville, Tampa, Florida, and Carolina in one division. And then Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Washington, Philly, New Jersey, Rangers, Islanders, and Boston.
Yeah, that one would probably work the best, and I could see since they're so close. But um, yeah, definitely weird year if that's the case for next year. I
I
mean, it
just
could work. It could.
I just want to know how the playoffs are going to like if that's, let's
Yeah.
say they do this. Let's say they do that kind of situation. My only question would be the playoffs, because obviously they're trying to eliminate travel.
Hmm.
So playoffs would be important. And at that point, let's say there is only 3 teams. Calgary, Toronto, and Montreal are probably the favorites to win if that's the division.
Hmm.
And for whatever reason, I think if they were to go in the West, or however they wanted to break it up, um, where would Ottawa slot? In like, because if they were gonna, let's say, because the majority of this division's in the West, and they were to go against the Pacific Western Division, or like it's just called the Western Division. Let's say they would do that. I mean, I feel pretty confident in being able to play better than LA, Anaheim, and San Jose, and
Hmm.
even Arizona at this point.
Yeah.
So if Ottawa could, hey, I'm just saying that there's a chance that like Ottawa could make the playoffs.
Which is, yeah. If that's the case, that would be, yeah. 2021 would almost be as crazy as 2020 if that happened. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it, obviously. But then you get to the playoffs and it's not what you expect. Again, how do you do the playoffs if you do it like that? If you have a Canadian division, do you have the playoffs in Canada again, like last year in a bubble? If it goes on,
I mean, I would hope, and maybe that's it.
Yeah,
Maybe they scrap the whole, division leader. Like, you win your division, you like. I talked about it before, where if you win your division, you get one, you slot in at 1-2,
yeah,
and then it'd be the best. I mean, the only logical way would be you win the division, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're slotted in by point percentage, and
hmm
then it's the best 12 teams behind that,
yeah,
and then you're
yeah.
split up into two. I'm not really sure how else they're going to do it.
But do you think because, well, realistically, if the virus keeps going on, and they choose to opt for a 48 game season, do you think they do another 2014 playoffs just because the lack of games in a bubble? Do you think they do another 24 teams in a bubble?
Where they have like a play in. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, to
know.
make it more fair considering it's a shorter season and teams are going to be like, well, we didn't play enough games. Just same thing as last year. Oh, we were so close.
I don't know because I think it would remind me a lot of more of the lockout shortened year.
Yeah, yeah,
Not like it's not like your season's getting cut in half where you've already played like 60, 70, 70
yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
games. You have your 48 games, kind of like the lockout shortened year. Do I think they may introduce an expanded playoffs just because they like the chaos of it? Possibly.
Yeah.
Um, but I really don't know at that point. I think the playoffs is going to be the deciding factor on how they do this.
hmm Yeah, I don't know. Like if they do a shortened season, well, that's a lot of revenue lost. That they could make up with a 2014 playoffs. And obviously, it worked this year, which I think might entice them to try it again next year if it goes on until then. I don't know. I think switching the format up is another hassle, but we'll see. I don't really know what to expect. I hope they make it work, but I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
damn.
the other thing, I mean, before we wrap it up, before I forget, Melnick came out with his master plan, and he came out
Yeah,
and said that like, oh, we want a cup we can win a cup in the 4 years. And
yeah,
honestly, I love the confidence in the man. I
yeah,
know
yeah,
people
yeah,
may not like him, but
yeah,
you can't question the man's confidence and cockiness when it comes to Pierre Dorian and what this team has done.
yeah.
But the big thing that I took away from it was the fact that they've set up a plan to have 6,000 people at games, and I don't know if that's like just straight up fans, because I know in the
Yeah,
States, like with the NFL, they are like the Steelers. They're my team, so I kind of follow them more closely than others. So the way the Steelers are handling it is that they can have like 7,500 fan or 75, yeah, yeah, 7.5 thousand fans or people at the arena. So they're actually looking at about 5,500
hmm
fans. So is that kind of where we're gonna have? Oh, we can have 6,000 people at the arena, but we can only have like let's say 4,500 fans.
yeah. Uh, I don't know. Like, I think that's a bit too optimistic. Like, the way I see it, where we're at right now is equivalent to what we were doing in February, like in terms of, the cases are still going up, like not much control over the situation. I think we're trying to be hopeful. And obviously, this guy wants to make money, so he's got to have a plan. But I just don't see it happening. Maybe that's for the best, obviously. If it does happen and it does work, well, great. But if it happens and it doesn't work, it doesn't look too good, especially, trying to make that happen. So I don't really know how they'll do it, but obviously the NHL surprised me and made the bubble work. So we'll see. I'd love to go see a Sens game this year. But at the same time, I just don't see it happening.
Well, that kind of answers my question on if let's say they were like, oh, we're gonna have 5,000 fans at the game. Would you go to a game?
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Yeah, I would. I definitely would because I want to see Stutzla in black, But I mean, we'll see. Yeah, I probably would just for the sake of it because that's my team. but that's another risk you have to consider. And I think for a lot of the people, they're all going to come down to trying to make the best decision. And I don't think many people are going to want to risk that. So I don't know. We'll see how many tickets sell and if there is fans going to the games. But overall, I don't think many are like me and willing to risk, just to go see their favorite player. So
Yeah, I mean, I think, personally, I would
yeah,
definitely at least. Okay, so like I went to I basically went to almost every home game last year.
yeah,
I don't think I would go to that many. I mean, let's say we had like 20, 24 home games. I'd
yeah,
probably try sticking to that 10 mark. I feel like you go to every couple of them, you probably have a good chance of being safe.
yeah,
But I want to see these new jerseys up in person. I want to see them
yes,
on the ice. I just want to see. And we got 10 minutes left, so we're gonna finish it up with this. We biggest moment of the draft. Say what you want about the picks and the trades and whatnot. The biggest moment of the draft was the showing of the jerseys. They had Nick
yeah.
Paul and Connor Brown, and makes me believe that Connor Brown will be back, probably, hopefully long term.
I think so too.
But they brought them back. They're beautiful. They look so clean. The whites have grown a lot on me. I did not like the whites.
Yeah,
I was maybe it was my own fault because I was so set on the black and the white at the bottom, not the full red, or the black and the red at the bottom, not the full red bar.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of what let me down. But looking at them and being like, damn, these
They're
are
well.
nice. These are really nice. And I keep seeing people buy them. And personally, like, I don't need a jersey right now. Like as you can see, I got you got Rossi, Baltimore, Ryan in the Blackjacks jersey. I do need a new Sens one, but I
Yeah.
can wait until the season happens. I don't even know who I'm going to get it on the back. I might not get anybody. But man, that jersey, that logo, I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Probably the best jerseys the Sens have ever had, obviously. For me, the best moment was seeing Stutzla pull up with the number 88 and just pop that thing on. That was just incredible. Seeing those colors on our, next big star, that was just, yeah, it's incredible. They look so clean. I'm happy they listened to the fans because obviously you saw their post. They added all the comments from the fans, bring the 2D back, bring the 2D back. So they saw, they read, and they listened. So
Yeah.
super stoked, That's awesome.
So I went to 90s night, the 90s night game, and I was talking about, they have the jerseys for sale. They should wear them. The players should at least come out and wear them on the ice
Yeah,
for the warm up. And they didn't. And I thought it was a disappointment. Like, you have a chance to bring back the old logo, the old jerseys for one night, just for a warm up, and you blow it. And it's funny because my comment made that video. That comment was like, you missed the chance of having a really good 90s night. And I saw it and I'm like, yes.
yeah. You made it into the trailer, I remember.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, that would have been good, eh? But maybe if they did decide to bring those jersey back, like people would just be like, "Damn, like why aren't those your real jerseys?" Even if it's for warm up, like Sens Twitter probably would have been outraged.
I mean, I love those jerseys. I'm so happy
Yeah,
they went back
yeah,
to it. I know it was a long time coming.
yeah,
And obviously Adidas messed up. I
yeah,
think if you're on Sense Twitter, you know what happened over the last couple of days with
yeah,
the mess up of Adidas accidentally posting a picture of a Kachuk jersey with the C on it. But
yeah.
apparently some of the people who bought that jersey, they were received without the C.
Yeah, I saw that too. You would assume that the Sens would be on that case really fast. So cool to see, but maybe it means nothing. Maybe it means something. We don't know. Obviously, it's a good shout to think Kachuk would get to see, so it's definitely believable, but weird.
My thinking is that why do you have a full on photo shoot if you don't have the jersey, right?
Yeah, that was weird.
So I think 2021, even if it's a short year or if it's going to be an exciting year. Ottawa has a lot of promise. I really want to see what the center ice will look like with this logo.
Yeah. I've been experimenting with NHL 21. trying to recreate these jerseys because obviously they haven't added it yet, which I don't get. Obviously, whatever. They can take their time, but at the same time, I'm playing the game and I'm looking at the 3D jersey, the 3D logo at center ice. I'm like, disgusted, like
I think
that's how.
my issue is that like the jerseys aren't like the 90s versions. Neither 90s versions of the black jersey are available to play.
Yeah,
And it makes
seriously.
no sense to me. It never has.
No, yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
tried. I was like, okay, well, maybe I could use those jerseys, and obviously, you scroll down, nothing. It's a bit odd, but
like I don't get it. I mean, I haven't bought 21. I've heard really good things about Be a Pro,
yeah,
but hearing that the jerseys aren't in it, the new look isn't in it, and I guess it makes sense if the new like they don't know what the arena is going to look like. They may not feel comfortable putting in just like a standard arena with like just a standard look. Um, but that alone is I'm just like I'm gonna wait on it. I'm gonna wait until probably Christmas or around Christmas to
yeah,
pick it. It's
yeah.
gonna go on
No,
sale anyways. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting for that Tesla jersey to come out. I just want to get the right spelling. I think they came out and said Timmy himself asked with the E in there instead of the umlaut. So I mean, sure, I get that, but I'll just wait for it to actually come out and be safe. And that's my guy.
yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, yeah, it sounds like it's gonna be like the STUE kind of the
Yeah,
spelling. But yeah, better safe than sorry to just wait until it's put out. Personally, I might just wait and see kind of what happens with the numbers because I think you know Norris could change his number. We saw it with
yeah,
Bathurst when he went from like 79 to 19. Norris could change his number. I'm kind of digging the Willan in 24.
yeah, yeah,
Looks
yeah, yeah.
super nice. Might grab because I don't want a Kachuk or a Shabbat, and it's not because I don't like them right now. It's just I know
Those two.
everyone's gonna have it. Like
Yeah,
it's the same thing with Stutzel. It's like I know everyone's going to have it. I
yeah.
kind of want a player that no one else is really going to have. So
Maybe get a Murray.
I'm kind of leaning towards Matt Murray. I'm
That'd be
kind
cool.
of leaning to Dadonov now. I was re-
63.
I was really looking forward to to Foley sign. That was my guy. I was going to get to Foley, but
Yeah.
I think
Would've-
it might be Matt Murray or Christian or Willanen. I'm gonna see how it shakes up. If I might honestly, I might say screw it and go after a Nick Pollard or Rudolph Balsers. Balsers is fantastic. May get an Abramov, may
There
get
you
a
go.
get an Austin Watson up in here.
Yeah, man.
May, good Branson.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's so many names, so many possibilities outside of Kachuk and Shabbat.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Yeah, maybe I'll invest in a Sanderson. Get ahead of it.
yeah. It's funny that like all four of our Dakota prospects are literally one after each other in
Yeah.
jersey numbers at North Dakota. I might say screw it and get Pinto 22. I don't care if that's not the number. Like I know Zaitsev is wearing 22, and you might not want to do it,
You
but
should.
Pinto, man, like he wears 22 for the juniors. He wears 22 for North
Yeah.
Dakota. I might just
That's
have
the
to go
number.
for a Pinto number 22.
Yeah, no, I would love to see that. Obviously, hopefully that's the reason Zaitsev gets moved, so Pinto gets to wear 22. I don't know. We'll see, but that'd be a clean jersey for sure.
Eric Branstrom 26. Who knows? There's gonna be so many.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might just go blank and just wait a little bit and just get it done later.
You see, they succeeded by doing this rebrand because look at us. We're ready to give all our money for like multiple jerseys. So they got it right. They for
Honestly,
sure.
people are like, "Oh, I hate Melnick," and then they drop the new jerseys and they're like, "Shut up and take my money." And I'm like, "Bro, what? How are you gonna
Yeah.
hate Melnick and go out and buy all this new merch?"
Yeah,
Like I literally
exactly.
I was showing a picture of someone on Facebook. He bought both jerseys, a white Shabbat and a black Kachuk. So that's $500 right there. Like two hoodies and like three of the Tukes. And I'm like, you spent almost
Wow.
$1,000 on Sens merch. Like, bro, what?
And
I,
they're so smart too because they don't have a third jersey. And you can only imagine that next year they're gonna drop that third jersey, a better year.
feeling that third jersey is going to look a lot like the original red jersey that they wore in the early 2000s. Because I think personally, I've said it multiple times, I think the old logo is dead.
Yeah,
All indication is the old logo is dead. Everything they've done product
yeah,
wise, they didn't bring anything out new last year. I feel like they're going to keep the 3D logo, and
yeah.
that's going to be the third jersey.
Hmm.
It's going to be like the wave and whatnot. That's my take on it.
Okay. Yeah, I think the safest bet is to say that it's going to be a red jersey. Obviously, don't know how it's going to look. Maybe they do something completely different. I don't know. Maybe a gold. I don't know if they can do that, but
Honestly,
that
I
could
think
be
if they
cool.
were to do like a red and gold with a little bit of black, if it's the gold that they use, like, because the gold that they've been using is really nice. If they can use
Yeah,
that gold on a jersey, I don't want no like Vegas gold. Vegas gold is horrible.
I
But I
don't
think
like that.
if you can get the nice like bronze kind of gold,
Yeah,
it should be good.
yeah. No, I agree with you, man. It could look really good, but it could also look really bad. So
Yeah, I'm excited for that third jersey. I mean, I'm just
yeah,
excited to see these jerseys on ice.
yeah, yeah, for sure, man. It's a great time to be a fan and almost the worst time to drop money, but I'll do it anyway. So it's
Yeah,
all right.
I'll wait. I'm gonna wait until Christmas when that jersey. It's not even about the price of the jersey. It's just more like I have nowhere to wear it right now. I'm not going to drop the money on it right now. I'll
Yeah,
wait until games are ready. I'll buy it then.
yeah. For a lot of people, though, we're in a global pandemic. Like people lose their jobs and stuff. Maybe it wasn't the best idea to drop their jerseys, but I think people will find a way to get it. So yeah, I'll pay. I'll pay up.
Yeah, yeah. So will I eventually. When games are back, honestly, that's my thing. I might just go first game and just buy it the first game. I don't know.
Yeah, at the rink.
Yeah, maybe if there's any left.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or if the rinks are open for us, we'll see.
Yeah, hell, I might just wait till Adidas has another sale and get it for like 30% off.
Yeah. Or wait till there's an actual captain and then
Yeah,
who knows?
honestly, that might be it. I might just wait. If I'm gonna get a Kachuk, I might just wait to see if he's named captain and then get it with the C.
That's a good shot. That's a good idea, man.
Anyways, thank you. I mean, thank you for all who's joined in. Thank you, Nick, for joining us today. But that'll wrap up this episode of the Sens Hour podcast. You can follow Nick at Dumoulin_Nick. He's part of the New Era Sens
Yep.
group. You can find him at New Era Sens on Twitter. You can find myself on Instagram and Twitter, Sens_hour, Shane_Ryan97. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Tune in live on YouTube and Twitter. And again, subscribe on YouTube if you already haven't. Thank you, Nick, again for coming on. And stay safe out there, everyone. We will catch you here next week.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much.